Did it feel different being in there with Jon this time compared to your first fight?
No, not at all. He got me very, very early in the first round, very early, and after that, I just shut down.
Ready to get here. I know you didn't get the result you wanted, but still, I mean, main event, big time title shot against, perhaps the greatest of all time. You go the 5 full rounds. What's the emotion like for you right now?
Just really disappointed. I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. I did exactly what I told everyone I wasn't going to do. I let Jon Jones sit back and be Jon Jones. I don't know, I guess sometimes you just go in there, it's not your night, I guess, but that's just not good enough for me.
All right, guys, welcome back to the UFC, and I appreciate you guys tuning into these videos. Of course, it helps the channel out a ton, and of course, it means a lot to me personally. But other than that, guys, let's get into the fight between Jon Jones and Anthony Smith at UFC 235. Now, this fight, honestly, I think it went the way a lot of people thought it would. Jon Jones went in there, he fought his fight. Anthony Smith didn't really pull the trigger much in this fight. He didn't look like the Anthony Smith we all know and love, and of course he's not going anywhere. That man put on a hell of a fight. He did what he could. I mean, when you're fighting Jon Jones, there's no explanation as to how he breaks these people down. I mean, you look at the fight with DC or Alexander Gustafsson, or this fight with Anthony Smith, they all say the same thing, and that is that Jon Jones never lets them fight their fight. They all are made to fight Jon Jones' fight. He puts them in situations that Jon Jones is so familiar with, and he knows how to handle, and he's went through these things 1,000 times in the gym, and he knows exactly what his opponent's going to do. I mean, the man's brilliant as far as fight knowledge and reading his opponent and knowing how to take them down and to pick them apart, which is basically what he does. I mean, he kept Anthony Smith back with his back against the octagon for the majority of this fight. A lot of the fight was on the ground where Jon Jones shines. Jon Jones basically wore him out. I mean, he made Anthony Smith carry his body weight for probably a third of this fight, which is insane. If you guys don't understand what that does to your body, it's like trying to run 10 miles with a deer on your back, or a 250-pound friend on your back. It's insane what it does to your body. Plus, you got to factor in those body kicks, those side kicks to the body that Jon Jones does so well. He just absolutely picked Anthony Smith apart. Now, of course, in this fight, there was a little bit of controversy, as we've come to kind of expect with a Jon Jones fight. We all know we're going to get a little bit of spice mixed in with everything. But this time it came in the form of an illegal knee. Now, the reason I say illegal knee with no hesitation, because it was absolutely illegal. Jon Jones kneed him when he was down. His hand was on the ground. And with the new rules, that means that the fighter's down. Now, Jon Jones' interpretation of the rules meant, or in his head, meant that if the fighter's fingertips were on the ground, just one hand in the fingertips, he's an up fighter. It's basically like he's standing up. You can throw knees to the body, or to the face rather. And that's what he does. I mean, if you look back at the clip, Anthony Smith's knee, his right knee, I believe it was on the ground for probably a good couple minutes before that. And as soon as he lifted that right knee up, Jon Jones threw the knee to the head, and that's when it landed. I mean, if you look at the highlights, that's what happened. So you can kind of understand it when Jon Jones says that he thought he was timing a perfect knee, because it did kind of look like Anthony Smith was standing up and getting ready to try to bring it back to the feet. So I don't know. I'm not just trying to defend Jon Jones here, because I love to watch him fight, and I'm very, very impressed with what he does. He'll definitely be a Hall of Famer. He'll be remembered for a long time in the sport of the UFC, and I think he's going to have a lot to do with the rise of the UFC. I mean, the UFC rather still has a lot of growing to do, and fighters like Jon Jones help that rise, even though there's a bit of controversy mixed in there. And Jon Jones, let's be real. I mean, Jon Jones has been known to have some illegal things in his fight, like, fingers to the eye, knees to the head on a downed opponent, kicks to the head. I mean, there's been some mix-ups, but you got to understand, when you're in there as a fighter, you're in the moment. it is pretty easy to slip up and throw those strikes. Now, some of them look kind of undeniable and it looks like there's no excuse for, which there may very well not be an excuse for. It could have been that Jon Jones was trying to get an edge on his opponent by maybe slipping an eye poke in there or whatever the case may be. And who's to say? We don't know that. We'll never know that. Jon Jones is the only person in this world that knows whether or not he meant to throw those strikes. So this thing goes a lot deeper other than just, I just hope there's not a bunch of fans out there hating on Jon Jones because of the illegal knee and taking anything away from this fight. I mean, you got to understand the man absolutely picked apart and basically demolished a guy that was very, very up and coming. He was on the rise. He had a lot of hype behind him. Now, to be fair, he's fighting Jon Jones, so it's hard to really shine in a fight against Jon Jones. It's hard to be the superstar against Jon Jones. And Anthony Smith did what he could leading up to the fight. He handled it very well mentally. I just think he got picked apart in the cage. I mean, Jon is a quote unquote look-see-do fighter. This man goes on YouTube, goes on the internet, watches people fight, and that's where he gets his arsenal. That's why he's so creative in the ring, is because he takes in what other people are teaching to him and kind of makes it his own and puts it into practice in the ring against these guys and figures out way to pick them apart using these skills. So it's truly a masterpiece to watch. It's like Jon Jones has the missing piece to the puzzle that everyone's looking for. He's just got it figured out. The man was built to fight and he does it so well. He makes a ton of money doing it and he deserves it. I think he deserves it. I hope we see him for a long time. And this fight just goes to show, Jon Jones is probably one of the best mixed martial artists in the world, if not the best. I mean, you've got Mighty Mouse, you've got a bunch of other contenders, of course, but Jon Jones will always be in that conversation because of fights like this, and because of these outings that he has against such incredible opponents, opponents that have knocked other people out consistently, in their career and have absolutely deserved the shot against Jon Jones. And he just makes them look like amateurs. As bad as I hate to say it, and as much as I love to watch people like Anthony Smith fight in DC and Gustafsson, he just makes them look second best. That's the only way I know how to put it. And after this fight, of course, Jon Jones, I think they're looking at Thiago Santos. Jon Jones actually mentioned wanting to fight Israel Adesanya, which, what? Israel Adesanya fights 170, right? Now, he is a very thick 170, and Jon Jones could probably drop a weight class, but that would be an interesting fight. I'm not sure if Dana's willing to make that happen. I mean, you still got Brock Lesnar in the picture, potentially. You've got DC in the picture. He's pushed back his retirement date. Now, we all think that's to fight Brock, but who knows? He could be fighting Jon Jones for the third time. And let's be honest, that fight's going to be a draw. It's probably going to do over 1 million pay-per-view buys, which, this day and age is great for the UFC. It's great for its growth. It gets a lot of eyes on the sport, and that's what we need. So other than that, guys, let me know what you guys thought of this fight in the comments below. Did it turn out how you thought it would? Did Jon Jones pick Anthony Smith apart in your head as well? Did you kind of think that's how this fight was going to go? And of course, guys, make sure to subscribe as well. If you like the content, if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. It truly means a lot to the channel, and it helps the channel grow more than you know, and it means a lot to me. So other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll catch you next time.